They were already poor. Their father had gambled everything away. But Dora still believed hard work and patience could save her family. What she didn't know was that the real enemy wasn't outside, it was inside her own house. Once upon a time, in a small village called Kutu, there lived a widow named Dora. Life was not easy for her. Her husband had died many years ago, leaving behind debts and shame. He was known as a drunk and a gambler. Before his death, he had used up all their money in betting. Dora was left with 3 children: Deborah, the first daughter, Lillian, the younger one, and her only son, Obina. Dora worked hard to care for them. She ran a buka, a small food joint, where she cooked and sold hot meals to villagers. Her daughters helped her after school. They were obedient and respectful, but Obina was different. He refused to help his mother. He hated being sent on errands. He always asked for money and shouted when he didn't get it. Dora warned him many times not to follow the path of his father, but Obina didn't listen. He started moving with bad boys in the village. They drank, stole, and did all sorts of things. Obina believed his mother had secret money hidden in the house. One afternoon, while his mother and sisters were away, he searched the whole house. At last he found something wrapped in a cloth money. Without thinking twice, he took it and ran off. That evening, when Dora returned home with her daughters, Deborah noticed the door was open. "Mummy, our door is open." Dora was confused. "Are you sure you locked it?" she asked. "Yes, I did." They rushed inside and found the house scattered. Dora screamed, "Oh God, my house rent. The money is gone." She cried and cried. The neighbors said they didn't see anyone break in. Meanwhile, Obina was at a beer parlor, spending the money. He bought drinks for everyone, dancing, laughing, and showing off. He told people he was now rich and more money was coming. He spent the night with strangers and drank till he couldn't walk straight. Later that night, he came back home drunk. Dora asked where he had been. "I was with my friends," he said, and pushed past her. She told him someone had stolen the money for the house rent. Obina didn't answer. He just went into the room and slept. The next morning, Dora begged him to get a job or help in the buka. She said the landlord would soon come for his money. But Obina refused. Instead, he asked for money to buy a jam form. Dora explained she had no money at the moment. Obina got angry, insulted her, and stormed out of the house. Later that day, Dora got a call someone wanted her to cook for a big event. She was happy. It would be enough to pay the rent and still have a little left. But Obina overheard the call. He went to meet his friends and made a plan. They would rob his mother once she got paid. The next day, he lied to his mother. He said he wanted to visit his uncle and needed transport money. Dora didn't have any and begged him to wait till morning. "It's too late, Obina. Just wait till daybreak." "I'm going now. I'll borrow transport," he shouted and left. Dora watched him go. Her heart felt heavy, but what could she do? That night, Dora didn't sleep well. She had a bad feeling. Early the next morning, as she was preparing food for the big event, a neighbor came running. "Dora, come quickly. Something has happened." Dora rushed out. At the edge of the village, near the bush path, a crowd had gathered. On the ground lay Obina, beaten and tied up. 2 of his friends had escaped, but the 3rd was caught and confessed. They had planned to rob Dora's house, thinking she had just received payment, but the plan went wrong. A vigilante group caught them while they were trying to break into the compound. Dora fell to her knees. She couldn't speak. Her own son, her blood. The one she carried for 9 months, now tied up like a thief. The villagers were angry. Some shouted, "Let's take them to the police." Others wanted jungle justice, but Dora stepped forward. With tears in her eyes, she begged the crowd, "Please, he is my son. I failed somewhere. Let him face the law, but don't kill him." Obina was taken to the police station. His name was announced on the village radio as one of the thieves. His sisters cried in shame. Weeks later, Dora continued working in her buka. People still bought food from her, but they whispered behind her back. Her daughters stayed strong and helped more than ever. Obinna was sentenced to 6 months in prison. The judge said he would be given a second chance, but he had to learn a lesson. When Obinna came back from prison, he was no longer the same. He didn't speak much. He looked older, thinner, and quiet. One morning he came to Dora and knelt down. "Mama, I'm sorry, I have brought shame to this family." Dora didn't say anything. She just hugged him and cried. From that day, Obinna started working in the buka with his mother and sisters. He didn't complain again. He didn't ask for money. He just worked. And slowly, the villagers began to accept him again. It had been 3 months since Obinna returned from prison. He was no longer the same boy who ran wild in the village. Now, every morning he woke up early and followed his mother to the buka. He cleaned tables, helped fetch firewood, and washed pots. Some villagers still whispered behind his back, but most were surprised. "This boy don't change, they would say. His sisters, Deborah and Lillian, were proud of him. Dora didn't say much, but inside her heart she was beginning to believe in him again. But Obinna was struggling silently. He missed the fast money, the praise he got from strangers when he bought drinks for everyone, the soft hands of girls who never cared where the money came from. Working in the buka was slow, hot, tiring, and he earned nothing except food and a pat on the back. One hot afternoon, while returning from the market, Obinna saw 2 of his old friends, Sly and Edom, sitting under a mango tree. "Obi boy," Sly called out with a big smile. "So you now day fry a kara for buka?" Obinna laughed awkwardly. Man must survive. They invited him to sit. They told him about a deal they just did in a nearby village, a small break-in. Sly said, and how they made over 150,000 each. "We have another one coming this weekend," Edom whispered. "Clean job. Nobody go even know." Obinna looked down. "I don't do that anymore." Sly leaned in. "Just one job, Obi. After this you go rest forever." That night, Obinna couldn't sleep. He thought of his mother, her back bent from carrying heavy pots, her hands dark from firewood smoke. He also thought of 150,000. What if he used it to start a small business? What if he helped his mother fix the leaking roof? The next day he went to the buka as usual, but he was quiet. He didn't talk much. Dora noticed. "Obinna, are you okay?" she asked. "I'm fine, Mama." But he wasn't fine. On Friday evening, he told his mother he wanted to visit a friend to help fix a broken phone. Dora agreed. But instead, Obinna went to meet Sly and Edom. They were all set. Black clothes, face covered, torchlight, cutlass. The target was a small provision store owned by an old woman who just made big sales. As they moved through the bush path toward the house, Obinna stopped. His heart beat fast. Sweat ran down his back. "I can't do this," he said. "What? Are you mad?" Edom asked. "I said I can't," Obinna shouted. Then he turned and ran. He didn't stop until he got to a police outpost in the next village. Breathing hard, he made a shocking confession. "There's a robbery happening right now. I know the people. They are my friends. Please stop them." The police moved fast. Sly and Edom were caught red-handed. When the news spread to Kutu village, the people were shocked again, but this time for a different reason. Obinna reported his own friends. He stopped a robbery. Maybe that boy has truly changed. Dora heard it and sat down slowly. She looked at the open fire in her kitchen, tears quietly falling from her eyes. Later that night, when Obinna returned home, Dora walked to him and held his hand. "Obinna, today you became a man." He didn't say anything. He just nodded and hugged her. From that day, things changed. The village youth group invited him to speak to young boys about the dangers of bad friendship. And Dora, she smiled again. She knew now that even though her son fell, he had gotten back up stronger. It had been almost a year since Obina turned his life around. He was no longer just Dora's stubborn son. People now called him Obina the Reformed. He worked daily in the buka. He even joined the church youth group and spoke to young boys about avoiding crime. Life was slowly becoming normal. But one evening, just before sunset, Dora noticed a strange man standing across the road, watching their buka. He was tall, with a scar running down the side of his face. He didn't eat, didn't speak, just stared. When Dora looked again, he was gone. She felt uneasy. The next day, Obina went to fetch firewood. On his way back, 2 boys from another village stopped him. "Are you Obina, son of Dora?" "Yes, why?" "Someone is looking for you, and he is not happy." Before Obina could ask questions, they walked away quickly. That night, as the family ate, Dora mentioned the man she saw. Obina kept quiet, but his heart pounded. He knew that scar. Years ago, before Obina went to prison, he had been part of a robbery with 3 other boys. One of them was called Reza, a dangerous man known in many villages. During that robbery, Obina panicked and ran away, leaving Reza and the others to face the vigilantes. Reza was caught and beaten badly before he escaped. And now he was here. 2 nights later, they heard footsteps outside their house, then a loud crash. Their kitchen door had been kicked open. Dora and the girls screamed. Obina grabbed a stick and ran outside. He saw 2 men running away into the darkness. They had smashed some cooking pots and poured kerosene into the soup pots. The message was clear: "We can reach you anytime." The next morning, Reza walked into the buka bold, smiling, but with eyes that carried fire. "So this is where you hide, Obina." "Reza, what do you want?" Obina said, his voice low. "What do I want? My life. You left me to die, remember? Now you will pay." Dora stood between them. "Please, this is my place of work. If you have a problem, talk like a man." Reza smiled coldly. "Mama, you raised a coward, and cowards must pay their debt." He walked out, leaving silence behind. From that day, the family could not rest. At night, strange knocks came at the door. During the day, customers whispered about the man with the scar, who was always nearby. Deborah begged Obina to go to the police, but Obina knew Reza was clever, so he prepared his mind for what is coming. One night, a heavy rain fell. Dora was asleep. Deborah and Lillian were also sleeping. Obina sat in the kitchen by a small fire, boiling water. Suddenly the door burst open, Reza, and 2 men rushed in, holding machetes. "You should have stayed in prison." "Obina," Reza growled. Obina grabbed the boiling pot and threw the water toward them. One man screamed and fell back. Obina swung a wooden stool at the other. In the struggle, Reza's machete slipped, cutting his own arm. The noise brought neighbors running. They overpowered Reza and tied him up. The rain poured as the vigilante group beat him until he stopped breathing. The villagers were happy to hear that Reza did not kill Obina and his family. Everybody in the village rejoiced and thanked the gods. "Mistakes can be forgiven," the village chief said, "but revenge destroys everyone." Dora hugged her son tightly. "You see, Obina, you faced your past and you won." You cannot run from your past forever. It will follow you until you face it. But when you stand your ground with courage, even your worst mistakes can become your greatest testimony. If you find the story interesting, then hit the like button, comment and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching and see you in our next video.